Good morning from New York. And the topic in this presentation involves the importance of healing your mind. The fact, the probability that echo inner mind communication can heal our relationships within and without. And there are points to consider. And this talks about the channel a little bit as well, and whether this is a channel for you. Number one point is that spirituality is independent of religion and punishing attitudes. So, if you believe that goodness is created by scaring people into being good, creating people who are only good because they're afraid not to be, this is not the channel for you. Okay? You are suffering from a kind of spiritual illness at a level that you're probably going to need professional help. And there are people to do that for you. If you were to take to the practice and put aside those kinds of notions, this could help you. I'll give you that. Number 2 point, if there are hellish conditions, it will result from a lack of love in our communications, not a lack of religion. In fact, I think that the punishing aspects of religion certainly promote that kind of hatred that leads to hellish conditions. And the world has suffered enough from people pushing their religion on different people, and declaring that people are good or bad according to whether they accept a certain religion, or that they can't be good without a religion. And this is just throughout history. We see people fighting and even killing each other in the name of religions that were inspired by compassion and then became organized into social control groups, which is religion. And that's a big problem. I would, cities in telling people they're going to go into some kind of hellish experience because they don't believe in your religion. Well, you're wrong. And in fact, you'll be promoting hellish conditions. Religions fight like crazy. The organized form of religion, it does that throughout history. And the people who want to create a Christian nationalist nation instead of a tolerant nation, tolerant of all religions, whatever you think, that's fine. Don't 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 use it to judge and hurt people. Um, yeah, that's a poison in our societies around the world, and it does lead to a lack of love and to hellish conditions. Um, yeah. Number 3, democracy promotes a greater love and empathy and must be defended. Is there a time to fight? Yeah. When the very foundations of relationships um, become so undemocratic that it leaves people in a situation where there is no empathy. Um, yeah, you're destroying the foundations of empathy and love when you're destroying democracy. Democracy must be defended. You know, it's it's you set a fire ablaze. You have to put it out. You know, so people are trying to burn down democracy. You have to act, and people have given their lives for democracy around the world in different times, different circumstances. They are to be honored. And spirituality is also about self-transcendence. Yeah. So, love is eternal. If you love, you're part of that eternity. Anyway, number 4, this point. Relationships exist both within ourselves and between ourselves. How you're thinking inside your head influences how you behave outside with other people. There are relationships you have within your mind. You see them in your dreams. There's a relationship between yourself and others. And relationship between yourself and yourself, and a relationship between yourself and your inner artist, which, for someone who doesn't believe anything beyond what they can prove, well, that would be your brain. So, everybody has a higher power concept, and there's a relationship between yourself and a higher power of love. And that could, that is the imaginer of all you imagine. That's your inner artist. And regardless of any belief system, that exists because it's a function that your brain provides. You do have a brain, correct? And it's the brain that is the imaginer of all you imagine. If you want to believe in something extra, you can. But wouldn't it be better to experience that extra and just share with people how to get there? That's the way of the mystic. Not running around twisting people's arms and saying, believe this or else. But more of a come and see. Go with me up the mountain. Or go up by yourself. But people are made to need each other. So, it's kind of a group thing as well as it is an inner mind thing. But in your inner mind, there is a group. All of these relationships exist in your dreams and your imaginings, your daydreams. And Echo Inner Mind Communication uses those relationships, and does so with the use of 3 different forms of empathy or ways of loving, which are objective, creative, and compassionate. All right, and this channel's about teaching that, and private lessons, can be had. Get in touch with us, and someone will give you an opportunity to learn. You can go into Zoom calls with us for that purpose. I say us because, right now on the channel we have 2 mystics who understand all of this and how to practice it, and we have another that's in training, but I think getting it. Yeah. And we have one more that is also just entering into the process, and but very knowledgeable. And can you innately know these things that I'm talking about? Just like, well, I knew that all along. Oh yes, and there's some of you out there don't need a whole heck of a lot of teaching, but or it'll be like falling off a log for you to understand the things that I'm saying, and I hope that that's the case. Yeah, but it does. There's healing in this process, healing of the mind. And point number 5, healing our minds needs an unlearning of the helplessness to give and receive love. And that's what I call when I say damaged faith and love, or and say that's CPTSD and PTSD and more. It's kind of a blanket term. Amazing that I haven't heard anybody use that reference, but I'm sure it would be falling off a log for a lot of people who studied trauma. That the healing process is definitely an unlearning of that helplessness. Okay. Now, there might be a lot of questions about how to go about this. And so ask them in the comments. And someone will get back with you in the comments on the particular video that you ask them. We're more open to comments that are friendly and questioning. If you doubt these things, do some study on your own, or that would probably be the best thing, because you're going to hear it from us. You're going to say, well, of course they're defending what they say, but do some research. I would suggest studying the phenomenon called near-death experiences, the experiments with psychedelics in healing trauma and other conditions, mental conditions. The great work of the Dr. Arthur Janoff. Read his last book, Life Before Birth. The hidden script that rules our lives. Yeah, and it's all over YouTube. There are people who try to heal trauma, and they get a lot of it right. Get a lot of it right. I mentioned a couple of the doctors who practice this, providing a link to their YouTube in the descriptions of the videos. All right, is this a political channel? Well, not in the way that you think. It's just encouraging you to heal your mind and to understand the things that we're talking about and take them to the voting box. Make sure that you vote. I would not want to impose upon anyone's decisions. Except to, well, I do sometimes give my opinions, but do consider them my opinions. But yeah, bring empathy and an awareness of it, the awareness of empathy and awareness connected to your feelings and the feelings of others, and the conditions of yourself and others, and bring that to the voting box. That is also a way of saying bring your virtues to the voting box. Goodness, truth, and artfulness, and whatever promotes trust, which those three things do, as forms of empathy, create greater trust. The lovely sound of heroes in the inner city. Did you know? Oh, well, that's off topic. Anyway, I've pretty much wrapped this up, except for any questions you might have. And I ain't gonna whine and ask you to, to subscribe unless, if you want to, you know. It's my job to make sure it's worth it to you. And your job to determine whether it's worth it to you. But, yeah, I would like it if you'd subscribe. It will help to get the message out. So if you do agree and you think that it's valuable, then in those conditions, please subscribe. Otherwise, it doesn't do you or myself or our team or this mission, the spiritual mission, any favors. This is a channel for all the world. And these are some of the points that you'll see addressed in the channel in various ways. And wherever you are, do support democracy. And don't vote for people who want to overthrow it. It's up to you to apply your mind to understand who that might be. How do you do research? Let's think about that. Well, you want to look at many sides of a question, your opinion and the opinion of others, and then try to argue for and against those positions in your own mind. If you can't argue against your own beliefs, then you don't have a belief. You have a brainwashed perspective. There's a big difference. You should have your beliefs, but your beliefs should not have you. And real spirituality does not depend on someone's particular belief. It depends on the flow of love that they have within their own mind and between themselves and others. And and the conditions in society that promote that. So I like to give a blessing at the end of my solo presentations, and it goes like this. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain falls soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see it, however you see your higher power of love, your source of all love. Yeah. And let that be your inner truth. Also, the final thing I like to say is a word well, I don't know whether to call it a word or a phrase, really. It's a statement. Um, and it's said for hello and goodbye, and, and just, in general, a way of honoring yourself and others at the same time. Um, as the universe knowing itself. And that's what Carl Sagan said we are. And I think that's just wonderful. And one phrase that's used in India that says that is namaste. Yeah. You are a wonder. Approach each other in that way, when you can. And when, well, there's so many things I want to say. But we'll end it. Make a great day, because you know you can. And namaste, y'all.